penny for the thoughts of Romelu Lukaku, who was on the bench for this game. He didn't start. How do you think he was feeling?
Well, I've said before, if I was Thomas Tuchel, and Slaven's been a manager, he knows more than me, and I'm spending that type of money, I'm going to say, right, I've spent this time, I'm going to trust you. You've scored goals wherever you've been. Chelsea's top scorer last season, 7 goals. Everybody's saying they're desperate for a goal scorer. They'll win the league. It's the last part of the jigsaw if they get a goal. They've gone and done it. Broke the bank to do it. And then all of a sudden he comes back from injury. He's a little bit quiet first couple of games on the bench, stays on the bench. And then the interview came from him. Then there's a bit of discontent. Then it's just play him. He is a constant goal scorer, constant source of goals. And if it was me, I'd play him because I think they're going to need him, you know, when the prizes are handed out at the end of the season.
From a manager's perspective?
But it happened to Chelsea. It's happening in last few centre forwards that they bought. It's not only Lukaku. They splashed the money on Lukaku to score goals. But before Lukaku, they splashed the money for Timo Werner, who was also scoring. He was also behind Lewandowski, top goal scorer when he was in Germany. Also Havertz was scoring goals for Leverkusen. But none of them, Havertz is a bit, but Werner and Lukaku, they're simply not scoring goals. Tuchel knows that. And Tuchel he's biggest fan of Lukaku because he knows that he's been, the transfer sum was that much and that Lukaku played last couple of seasons in Italy unbelievable good. He won the league, the Scudetto that Inter was waiting for many years since Mourinho time. You know, so he knows that. So he wants Lukaku to score goals because he's gonna. Every time Lukaku is on a bench, it's a problem in the dressing room a little bit, smaller or bigger. Not to mention the press conferences when they ask you why he's not playing. But there has to be some reason why he is not playing him.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Lukaku, you either play him or you sell him. You just simply can't have somebody that good.
You can't keep him on the bench.
No. And I'd go one step further and agree with Slaven in terms of their strikers. You go back further. A lot of people think that being a centre forward for Chelsea is a bit of a graveyard position because go back to the Torres.
Exactly. Bravo.
You know, you go back to Shevchenko. You go back to Crespo. There's a lot of top class centre forwards that have joined that club for millions and millions in the last 10, 15 years. And you can't find many that succeded.
Only Drogba
was unbelievable. But after that,
yeah, it's a good point.
Look at, Mutu cost a fortune.
A lot of
I'm going to come back to a Real Madrid striker as well that came from Moratti. Was it? Anyway,
Morata.
Morata.
Yeah, another big.
There's
loads of them. It's a difficult position to play.
But then, am I fair to ask the question? It would be really harsh if he was to drop the likes of Kai Havertz and bring Lukaku back in, because Kai Havertz currently is in great form and he's the top goal scorer under Tuchel at the moment. So you can't put him on the bench, can you?
Yeah, but now in this situation, he needed a win also, Tuchel, because Chelsea with this situation with Abramovich and all this, they really needed a good result. They couldn't afford to have, because probably the atmosphere there is a little bit worrying or whatever. So they needed a big win, and he didn't think about Lukaku. He thought about, I need a win. Also, what they are talking about Lukaku, why he was so, a great player, don't get me wrong. But maybe he thought that against such a big defenders like Tarkovsky and big defense and massive guys against kilos, that he needs somebody sharper, somebody who plays more clever, not as static as Lukaku is at the moment. So you need Havertz, you need Pulisic, those guys who can sneak behind you and find space in the right moment. And that's what he gets, not from the start, but in the second half, definitely.